Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Good morning, FLOSSTUBE. How is everybody doing today? Great! I wasn't actually asking. I don't really want to know. Let's get back to me. It's been 3 weeks since my last video. I normally would have done one last week, and I had no reason not to. I'm not going to do one every 2 weeks just out of like obligation or just for no reason. But I had plenty to talk about and plenty to show last week. When my one opportunity came up to actually do it, I just didn't feel like doing it. It never turns out as good when I don't feel like doing it. So I might as well wait until I feel like doing it. Right. So because it's been 3 weeks, I feel like I have even more to talk about and more to show and more foolishness planned out. And I feel like this is going to be a pretty good one. So we should probably get into it after I get through the, hey, how's it doing? And hey, how's it doing? Off to a great start. How's everybody doing? Did you have a good 3 weeks? The kids finished school this week. Everybody's done another school year. Everybody's growing up way too fast. Dylan's going to be in school before you even know it. And I don't even know how that's possible because it feels like he was just born. But teaching him all the important things about life and all the things that he needs to know and all the, Betsy messaged me a few days ago and said, how come you taught Dylan how to say Noah, but you didn't teach him how to say Betsy? And I'm like, Dylan knows how to say Betsy. I taught Dylan how to say Betsy. He knows who you are. Take a look. He can say Betsy. Dylan, say Betsy.
Penis.
We're going to have a good time today, I think. So welcome, and thank you once again to everybody who's back watching, who's been here before or who's been here for the first time. I've got, as I sit here right now, pretty close to 2,700 subscribers, which is like, it's actually mind-boggling to me because like in real life, I know like about 6 people, so I can't even comprehend 2,700. And I was thinking about it, 2,700 is pretty close to 3,000. It's close enough to just call it 3,000, isn't it? And 3,000 is pretty close to 5,000, and 5,000 rounds up to 10,000. So when you really think about it, I have 10,000 subscribers right now. How crazy is that?
A huge part of that is the wonderful king of stitching, Darcy Cameron.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those videos. So I've made a lot of progress and I've got a lot to show and I've got a lot to talk about. So I feel like we should just get to it because I had to turn off my air conditioner in order to sit here so that you could hear me, and it's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and I don't want to sit here any longer than I have to. So I feel like we should just get into it. But I do want to talk about 2 FLOSSTUBERs before I really get started. One brand new one and one super old one, who are maybe that wasn't the right way to say that. She's gonna kill me. Not super old as in. I'm just gonna start over. One FLOSSTUBER who only has one video, and one FLOSSTUBER who has hundreds of videos. Is that a better way to say that? That's what I meant. The first one is a new FLOSSTUBER who is a friend that I made on Instagram named Leonie, who has been talking for a little bit while. But forget it, I'm just gonna leave it in. I'm not redoing stuff. It's hot in here. She's been talking for a little while about possibly starting a FLOSSTUBE, and she finally did it. She made her first video, and I thought it was great. You should go check her out. Do I have anyone to send? No, she was great. It's been nice to get to know her. I'm glad that she finally made her first video. And as like a side message to like, not necessarily specifically about her, but like people in general, people actually come to me when they're considering their first FLOSSTUBE. Like they're like, should I start one? I kind of want to start one, but I don't know. Sometimes they come to me. Like, isn't that scary? Like as if I know something. I don't know anything. But they come to me and they ask me questions. And one of the main hesitations amongst people who haven't done any FLOSSTUBing yet seems to be, well, there's already so many FLOSSTUBERs. Like it's too much. Which I know there are a lot, and there's more than anybody could ever watch, but I've never really thought of that as like a reason not to do it any more than, you know, like there's a lot of music too, and there's a lot of movies, and there's a lot of TV shows, and there's a lot of everything. There's a lot of books. Should we just stop writing books because there's already a lot of books? Like, just because there's a lot of something doesn't mean like if you have something to contribute and you have you know what I'm trying to say, you know, because I don't want to redo this. I'm sweating. I feel like no matter what field you're in or what you're doing, if you've got something valuable to contribute, it's definitely worth doing. It doesn't matter that there's already a million of them. There's more movies than I could ever watch in my lifetime, and I would never advise anybody to stop making movies. Please keep making movies. So like the people will find you. There's not everybody's going to watch everything, but the people will find what they like, and you know, that's why I get excited when there's new Flosstubers. Like if I can fit you in, if I can, like sometimes I've got extra time and sometimes I've got no time at all. Whatever, you know, whatever. Like, can you see the sweat? Did I make my point? The other person that I really want to share my love for is Yanni from Yanni Stitcher, who I'm sure you all know. She sort of joked last week that I was drinking a Corona and didn't even give a shout out to my Mexican friend, which I know she was joking, but that would have been a good opportunity to say something about her. And I don't know that I've said like enough about her as I should, because now this is a way to just turn it all like, yay, Yanni, she's great, like she's the queen of Flosstube and everybody should go watch. You all know that. Now we're going to turn it all around and make it all about me again. That's what this is really all about, right? I love when I show people out and then make it all about me. Here we go. So a little story about like when I made my very first Flosstube. I, just like everybody else, was super nervous about it. I wasn't sure if I should do it. Even after I did it, I didn't think it went all that well. I mean, it was okay. Like, it was enough for me to, like, dip my toe in. And, like, but it didn't. I thought I was awkward. I thought I was stiff. I didn't think I said what I wanted to say. I didn't think I was as funny as I wanted to be. Like, there were things about it that I thought, like, this didn't turn out the way that maybe I'm not. Like, maybe I can't get this person who's in my head out onto a screen. Like, it just didn't turn out how I imagined it was going to turn out. So, but I posted it anyway and like let people react. And yeah, people were very nice. People were really nice about it. And like it was really encouraging. But then all of a sudden it had been up for about like 4 days, I think. And all of a sudden I'm watching my regular Flosstube people and I come across this.
This week I found a new teacher. He's from Canada. His name is Darcy. I don't remember the last name, but he's fantastic. And it's his first video, and it's so fun. And you fell in love with the personality.
Yeah,
and
I found him.
Yeah,
Darcy Cameron.
Yeah, and he shows some heaven and earth designs. Amazing, and you're going to have so much fun watching.
I can't wait.
And when I heard that from her, that really gave me the boost that I needed to like get over like, okay, even if the first one didn't turn out exactly as I wanted it to, like continue on, because like it must have turned out good enough. If Yanni's saying things like that about me, like imagine like all I could think of is if you like that, you ain't seen nothing yet. So that really gave me the boost that I needed to. Like I got my next one planned out and started right away. Right after I saw that, all the doubts about like whether I even wanted to do another one were gone. The foolishness and the ridiculousness was in high gear after that, and that was really the point at which I was like, all right, like that was good enough, and now like full throttle ahead with all of the ridiculous and all of the things that I was like, should I do this or should I do that? I'm doing all of it, and that was the point at which that all became a thing. And I've always like been really grateful to her for that. So I love her. Was that enough of a shout out to me? It was supposed to be love for her, but look at this. I've got it right here in my book. If you want a little bit of a glimpse into the behind the scenes, I've had people ask like, do you write out everything you say, or do you write it in order? How do you, for editing, like how do you piece it together? And like, I do write notes. Here's the note that I wrote for my shout out to Yanni. Say nice things about Yanni, and then make it all about me. That's what I wrote, and I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I am dying. I am dying up here. Like, I might have to take a little bit of a break and turn my air conditioner on so I can finish the second half. Like, if this is the way it's going to be all summer, I don't know. Maybe I will only be able to do this once a month. I can't take this much longer. One more thing we need to get to before I show you all my whips. Melissa has continued to stitch. She didn't just do one thing and give up. She's been stitching and stitching and stitching. And I believe, we haven't done it yet, but I think that I've convinced her to get on here and talk about it for more than 2 seconds. So let's see what Melissa has been up to. Okay, so it turns out this actually isn't going to happen. I did have Melissa sitting here next to me, and we were kind of all ready to go, getting everything all set up, getting everything ready. And then I reached behind her and accidentally smacked her in the back of the head. And it kind of threw everything off and ruined the whole thing. So she's not going to do it. She did tell me that if I still want to show what she's been working on, I can. And I do want to do that because I really like all the things that she's been working on. So just imagine that she's sitting here next to me, and maybe next time, if I can do this without being such an idiot, maybe she'll join me. I'm not going to make her do it. If she doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to pressure her into it. But she has been stitching a lot of awesome things, and I do want to show them. So here's one. Little tiny blue monkey. This was originally a normal looking brown monkey. She changed it to blue because Dylan likes to call himself a blue orangutan. So she stitched this little blue monkey for Dylan. She stitched this on a piece of my 18 count Ada, which she didn't like because I don't notice all that much difference between 18 and 14 count because I'm so used to it, I guess. But she thought that 18 count was way too small and way harder to work with. So this was the only one on 18 count before she switched back to 14 count and did this hippie looking van thing. Isn't that cool? It turned out awesome. I don't really know what else to say about it except it's a cool looking hippie van and I like it. And then we've got this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Get it? I think that's actually a little bit inappropriate. I don't think that has any place here on this channel, humor like that, but this turned out really good too. She did the words a little bit thicker than was called for, which I thought made it stand out a little bit more. I really like that, which led to her doing, I'm not sure if she started with this one or with the next one, doing instead of 2/1, 3/1, because she liked 14 count better than 18 count, but didn't like the coverage that 2/1 gives on 14 count. She's getting all this stuff that I didn't learn until I was like 10 years into it. I just thought there was only one way to do it. This, I'm pretty sure, is also the one that I first noticed her stitching with one needle, but also had a second needle up here. And I was like, why do you have 2 needles? What do you need 2 needles for? And she said, I've got one for stitching and one for picking any potential knots out so I don't have to like pull it off my thread, which I was like, oh my God, in like 30 years of stitching, something like that never would have occurred to me. I thought that was genius. I've never thought to do that before. I can just save it where it is and pick it out with my other needle. Brilliant. And one last thing. Now we're getting into like stuff that is like more, not just the little free things that you find online. She found one from Stitchrovia. Stitchrovia. I'll link it below in case anybody wants to go check it out. The Stitchrovia Etsy shop. It says, there's nothing better than a good friend except a good friend with chocolate. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I didn't attempt anything like this until I'd been stitching for probably, I don't know, at least a couple of years. She does a couple of quick little things and then boom, she's professional. I love it. This was 14 count, 3/1. She changed some of the colors because she didn't like the colors that were in it and picked her own colors. Like these words weren't green in the original pattern, but she thought the green looked better and chose her own shading of it. Like, Stitch Lady is better than me. It's better. What's going on here? This is her channel now. So anyway, that's what she's been working on. That's what we've been doing. We've been doing it together. We've been watching Flosstube together. It's been going great. Maybe next time, if I don't punch her in the back of the head. Maybe I'll get her to sit here with me. I don't know. In the meantime, if you want to follow her on Instagram, make a new friend. I'll put her Instagram below. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. I just whacked my hand on the wall. All right, let's get into the whip so I can towel off and get the hell out of here. First up, I'm going to show you in order of least amount of progress to most amount of progress. Doesn't that sound like fun? First up, we're going to do Deck the Halls. The Deck the Halls stitch along that we're doing for Christmas time. I'm just rambling so that I can show a picture of it. Where was I last time? Here's where I was with the Deck the Halls stitch along. I can't imagine any scenario in which this section isn't finished right now because all I have left is the word snow. I'm sure I can squeeze that in. And here it is. The June section that we're doing, completed. Took me, I don't know, 2 days to do this, 2 evenings. I love it. I love it. It's not the type of thing that I normally do, but it's been a lot of fun and I've loved it. And I love how fast it's going. And I've really had to resist the urge not to continue on because like, this is all we're doing for June and the next part is in July and it's not July yet, but I almost just did it anyway, but I'll wait. It's almost July 1st now as I'm sitting here. So it'll be this week and I'll pick it up again. I love how fast it's going. I think it's going to look nice when it's all done. And there it is. That's it. On to the next one. Next up on the whip list, Moonstone. Where was I last time? Here's what Moonstone looked like last time. Little moon butt sticking out there. Maybe I'll go this way and fill in the page. Maybe I'll come down this way. Or maybe, because I was so frustrated with all the confetti, maybe I didn't work on it at all. I don't know. Let's see. And here's where I am today. It almost looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Yep, it sure does. I did 200 stitches right here. So this one, my original plan, and I stuck with it for 2 days, was my Newfoundland friend, Leonie from Thread the Needle. She does this thing. I don't think it was like her thing that she came up with, but it's where I heard it. That she does this thing where she picks a project and does 100 stitches a day on that project. So like, which is not a huge commitment. Do your 100 stitches and then pick up the one that you really wanted to be working on. And then theoretically, you should have like 3,000 stitches of progress on something by the end of the month by just doing 100 stitches a day. And that sounded like a great idea to me. And I thought that would be good for this one because like I'm not particularly enjoying working on it as much as I'm enjoying working on my other ones. So I thought if I can just do 100 a day, I'm going to make some good progress on this. So probably I should be 1,500 stitches ahead right now because it's been, well, even longer than that since I've been sitting here. So I actually stuck with that for 2 days. I did my 100, I did my 200, and then I don't know. In every other aspect of my life, I like having a plan. I like having it all written out. I like being able to follow it. And I like knowing what I'm doing ahead of time. But I just can't seem to get behind that when it comes to cross-stitching. If I'm not in the mood to do something, or if it's not what I want to do like right there in that moment, it's hard for me to stick to a plan. And this one, as much as this is one of those ones, I don't know if anybody else has ever had this experience before, but I've had this with a few of the ones that I've worked on. That the picture itself, when it's done, I absolutely love it. And it's going to look great when it's done, and I'm excited to see it done. But I'm not particularly enjoying working on it. Like, the actual day-to-day putting in the stitches and actually working on it is not nearly as enjoyable as some of my other ones, even though I still want to do it because I really like it. I like it, and I'm going to like it when it's done, but it's just been such a struggle for me to go to this one when I've got other fun things to be working on. So like I couldn't even stick to the 100 stitches a day and try to make some like noticeable progress on this. I don't know what I'm going to do because I want to do it and I want to finish it, but I can't seem to bring myself to actually work on it. Somebody help. What do I do? Next up on the progress report, Sunflower Cottage Stitch Along. Let's see where I was last time. And here's what Sunflower looked like last time. I have a sinking feeling that this might continue to get neglected for the next couple of weeks, but I hope not. I hope I have time to work on it because I'm really enjoying it and stuff's going to start to fill in. So We'll see. We'll see how much I did, if I did anything at all. And here's what it currently looks like. Okay, all right. It's not a ton, but it's like, it's noticeable progress. This is going to be a big heart right here. I thought maybe I would actually be down to the bottom by the time I showed you this, but I got a little bit distracted with the two that I'd made the most progress on. But this was actually the one that kind of like worked more for the way I wanted to do it with Moonstone, just picking up and picking away at it like 100 stitches at a time or whatever. I made about 800 stitches of progress on them. I got to get out of here. I'm suffocating. So I would pick this one up whenever I just wanted a couple hundred stitches of something brighter and more fun than I was working on. And that worked pretty well to make about like, I think that's 800 stitches of progress. You can see the start of the heart. Like, you know, I'm not going super quickly on this, which I feel like gives the impression that I'm not enjoying it as much as the other things. And that I feel like that's not true. Every time I pick this up, I really, really, really enjoy doing it. But it just sort of seems to be like the backup enjoyment one. Like whenever I get, okay, I have too much confetti on this one, or like too much Alice hair or background or whatever, I want something blue, I'll go to this for a little bit. But like, so it's going to take me forever. It's going to take me forever. I've joked that people are going to be completely finished this before I even finish page 1, and I really don't think that's a joke. I think that a lot of people are going to be finished this before I even finish this page. But that's all right. That's all right. We can draw it out for as long as we need to. I'll be sitting here in my mid-40s finishing my sunflower. That'll be fun, right? Next up, now we're getting into stuff that I actually made really, really, really good progress on. So next up, we've got Alice in a Dali dream. Where was I the last time we looked at it? Here's where I was last time with Alice in a Dali dream. If I did what I said I was going to do, I made some pretty decent progress on this. And here's what Alice looks like present day. Look at this. I got all the way down to the top of her head. And this whole rest of this chunk here is just hair and forehead. It's actually gonna start looking like something. This is like, I got a little bit bogged down. Like, not too bad, because it's still pretty fun. But like, you know, these, for people that do these kinds of things, like there's always a lot that's like just background. Like Chessie has purple background, or like the blue sky, or like the dark sky of my princess or whatever. Like it's like you got to do the background, but it's sort of like enough already with the damn background. But this one is, yeah, I started to feel that way a little bit. Just like, look at, like I'm doing a lot, but it's still not looking like a lot until I finally got down here. But that's it. If you look at the picture, let's take a look at the picture. That's pretty much it for background. Everything else from here on in is like, even over here, and then once you get down here, it's all Alice and Dali stuff. There's no more, like everything that I do from now on is going to be something, which really makes me excited. Like, I like making progress on anything, no matter what the progress is, but I also really like actually seeing something turn into something, which is not always a thing when you're doing really big full coverage things. Sometimes you have to be okay with going weeks or even months at a time with it just looking like nothing. But doesn't look like that's going to happen with this, because everything from now on is something, and that's really exciting. So I got through here, and I'm down to her head, and I'm down to her face, and I've got like artsy Salvador Dali stuff over here, and like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? I'm hot. I'm excited. We're gonna see some Alice forehead the next time we see this, and I'm excited to. And look, I kept it in my 11 by 11, and I didn't have to move it, and that's more than halfway across. Like, that's a page and a half and a bit. So, like, I don't know why it never occurred to me that I could fit that much in a Q snap without moving it, but that has been working out really well, because I'm only gonna have to move it one more time, and I'll be all the way to the end of this whole top section. So that's exciting, right? And last, but most definitely not least, this big guy right here, Chessie. Let's take a look at where I was the last time you saw him. Here's where I was with Chessie last time. I would love to make as much progress on this as possible, maybe even finish this whole page. That's probably not going to happen, but I really hope that at least this much is done and we can see his second eye. Let's take a look. And take a look what your pal Darcy did over the last couple of weeks. I finished the whole damn page. I was just like on a mad rush to, once I got down here and finished his eye, I actually put him away for a little bit and I went on to Sunflower and Alice, and I'm like, okay, I did what I said I was going to do. I finished the eye chunk and now he has 2 eyes. But then I picked him back up again because like this is the one that excites me the most. This is the one that if I were to be like a monogamous, I'm only going to work on one thing, it's always this thing. I haven't got tired of the purple. I haven't got tired of the blue. I've only got a tiny bit frustrated last time with like the amount of confetti that was in there. Like there's a lot everywhere. It's not just that. There's a lot, but it doesn't bother me because these colors are so much fun if you can see them. So this is tending to be my go-to project, and I am loving it. I love it. There are very few moments where I feel like, all right, I've had enough of that. I'm going to go pick up Alice, or I'm going to go do something else, not because like I do that, but not because I'm sick of this. There's only been a couple of moments where I'm like, okay, enough already with the purple, or enough already with the blue. I have not felt like that very often. This is another reason why I wanted to hurry up and, I make this video because I was stalling because, my neck hurts and because it's super hot and like, but it's already been, I finished this last week and I didn't want to show him all rolled up in a Q-snap again. I wanted to actually be able to like show him like this. I guess I could have just filmed that ahead of time. Why wouldn't I think of that? I don't know. I don't think of stuff like that. But now that I've shown him and now that I've filmed him, get him back in his Q-snap and keep working on him again because he's awesome. He's so much fun. It's so much fun working on this. Every last little bit of this has been so much fun. Can you tell how much fun I'm having working on this? So that's it for the whips. I actually feel like I had more to say about all of that stuff and in a much better way, but like I'm just distracted by the lines of sweat that are dripping down the back of my neck right now, and I'm just like, well, whatever. I don't even know what I said. Whatever I said, hopefully I can piece it together in a way that makes sense. So I think we're almost done here, but there is another thing that I'm going to save the normal Q&A that I sometimes do. Ask me anything. I did get some questions and I could legitimately do that, but I felt like when I was writing this out, I felt like this is going to be an hour and a half long. Like I can't include everything. And now that I feel like I'm just rushing through it, it's probably only going to be like 25 minutes. So I probably could have, but I've got the questions. I'll save them for next time. Because another little segment that I wanted to do is going to overtake that. And like, how many different little segments can I do? This is going to be a whole montage of like this segment to that segment, and everything needs its own theme song and I'm not sure if anybody's going to remember this, but a few videos ago, I was talking about my giant scissors and how much I love them and why I use them and why I've always used giant scissors and blah, 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 blah. I love my giant scissors. Well, after that, some kind stranger thought it would be appropriate for me to try out a nice little proper tiny pair of scissors. So there in my mailbox waiting for me was a tiny little itty bitty pair of scissors. So let's have a little talk about tiny scissors.
Tiny scissors, tiny scissors, tiny scissors, tiny scissors, tiny scissors, tiny.
Look at this! Aren't they cute? They're so little and they're so light. And look, it looks like I don't know if my camera will focus enough, but it's some kind of like, I don't know, is that a fox or a rabbit? Or like, there's his ear and there's his butt and I guess these are his legs. And he's like, look at me, I'm a tiny little fox scissor thingy. I don't know. So I made it a point, even though I'm really resistant to anything new and I don't even want to try it. So I made it a real point to myself that I'm going to use these for at least 2 weeks. Even if I get frustrated with them, I'm going to give them a real chance. And I did get frustrated with them. I'll admit, when I first started using them, hold on. Everybody just hold on. So part of the reason that I love these scissors so much is not because they're convenient for cutting tiny threads. It's because they're convenient for me picking up really quickly and not fumbling with them. I can just pick them up, my hand fits in them, I can snip, put them back down, and be on my way, and everybody's happy. So I don't like to. I don't want to fumble with stuff and like, which is exactly what was happening when I started using these. I put them next to me in what I thought was the most convenient spot, but it was really hard to pick them up quickly and to not like. I was dropping them a lot. I dropped them a lot. I couldn't like. I didn't know how to hold them. I could barely fit my fingers in there. And even when I did, I felt like they weren't in the right spot and my fingers kept slipping out. That's what she said. That was for Noah that I did that. See, I haven't lost my love of 12-year-old humor. I'm still immature. For real, though, I was actually having a really hard time because I'm trying to hold them the way that I think that I should hold a pair of scissors with my thumb and my middle finger, and I'm trying to, and they kept slipping off. I couldn't do it, and I was getting so frustrated. So maybe you're just not supposed to hold them that way. So I tried a whole bunch of different configurations. I was using my pinky and I was using like this finger and I was holding them backwards. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did discover that if I hold them with, it just still doesn't fit all that great. But if I, because I have such huge manly hands, you understand. But if I have my thumb and my fourth finger in there and kind of like use my index finger as support, that worked pretty well. At least it keeps them from slipping because I can put like pressure on them and push on them, but they're not falling off my fingers because I'm holding them in place with my other finger. So that actually worked pretty well. And once I discovered that, I started to really like them. Like they're what they I usually like something a little bit more hefty than this, but what these lack in heft, they make up for in a real satisfying snip. Like that snip, these snip the threads real good. And there's something about that snip that like I don't feel that quite as snippily with the big ones all the way down here at the tip. But when these are like this and I can actually feel that snip with these and it's such a clean cut, ooh, there's something about that is just like super, super satisfying. Oh yeah, that's what I like. So once I discovered the best place to keep them beside me and the best way to hold them and the best way to grab them, then I have to admit that I actually started to really enjoy these, and these became my go-to scissors for whichever project I was working on. I was rotating them around with, at first I thought maybe I'm gonna use them for 2 weeks, but I'm only gonna use them for this one or like with like Chessie or Alice, and then I'll just use my normal scissors for all of my other ones, but I didn't. I was using these ones and I am still using these ones. And I spent an evening I went back to these, and because I had used these for 2 full weeks without using anything else, these feel super clunky and awkward now. I was really surprised how fast of a transition I went from I almost found these difficult to use after being so used to these. So maybe I shouldn't, I don't know what the lesson here is. I shouldn't be so afraid of new things. I don't know, because I didn't want to use them. I didn't want to try them and I didn't like them, but I stuck it out. And now I think I'm going to use these more than I use these. Maybe even only these. I really like them. Also, depending on what I'm working on, I don't really have like a great place. They're so big, I don't really have anywhere to store them properly. I try to keep them near my stuff, but sometimes I forget where I put them. But these are so small, and they're so much easier to store. I can put them right in with the floss that I'm using, or like in the case of Alice, because Alice is in one of these bobbin box things, they fit right in and they close, the lid closes. I never lose anything. Look, I can just put them right in and look, they fit right in the box. And let's not forget, because they have such a good snip to them, and because they're so small, they are multi-purpose scissors. I use these for a lot more than just like snipping my threads. I have this one really big like rogue eyebrow, this one eyebrow that always like grows like all the way out to here. I'm exaggerating a little, but like I use these to trim my eyebrows. I was sitting on the couch while I was stitching one night, snacking on carrots, and I got a carrot piece stuck in the back of my teeth. How do you think I got it out? These babies right here. Picked it right out. They're teeth pickers. They're eyebrow trimmers. They're thread cutters. They're like nose hairs. Like anything. I'm sure you could find a million uses for these that are like not just for cross stitching. So I love them. I absolutely love them. Thank you so much, anonymous scissor stranger.
Tiny scissors, I have some tiny scissors. Tiny scissors, I have tiny scissors.
I think that's all I'm going to do today. That's all I can. I was worried based on what I had and the progress that I made and what I wrote down. I was worried that this was going to be like 2 hours long, but I feel like I've rushed through a little bit and I didn't say some of the things that I even wanted to say. And maybe it's only going to be 20 minutes. I don't know. It's just so hot in here. I want to turn my air conditioner back on. So hopefully next time it's a little cooler and I can gather my thoughts a little bit better and not be such a mess while I'm sitting here. But huge thank you. Before I leave, I have to say a huge thank you to Kaylee from Kaylee Cross Stitch for singing those Tiny Scissors songs for me. Those were like better than I could have even imagined when I asked for a little Tiny Scissors ditty. Like I can't even tell you how many times I listened to those and laughed. They were just like they were so great. Kaylee is the best. Please, I'm gonna link her below and go check her out if you're subscribed to her if you're not already subscribed. She's great. And thank you for the Tiny Scissors ditties. Love them. So that's it. Thank you, as usual, to everybody that subscribes and everybody that watches and everybody that comments and everybody that like sends me messages and has been so nice to me and so encouraging to me. Like I don't feel like I don't say it enough how like genuinely touching it is to like have the support and encouragement that you have all been giving me. I love it and I love you all and thank you very much. And if you feel like doing any of the YouTubey things that help my channel, like and subscribe and comment, that stuff actually is very helpful. Thank you, by the way, to all the people last week that actually bought me a coffee. I was quite surprised and touched by that too. Thank you so much for the buy me a coffee thing. Although most of them did say, you should have called this buy me a beer. Like who in their right mind wouldn't want to buy Stitchman a beer? So if you want to change it to, maybe I'll try to change it to buy me a beer. If anybody wants to buy me a beer, we'll stitch together. We'll have a beer together. We'll make 12-year-old jokes and giggle together. Look, I've got one all ready to go right here as my sign off. Pump House Cream Ale?